Bonjour à tous les amis, j'espère que vous allez bien. On est sur Fortnite, voilà. On va faire de la Blitz Royale en section. On va jouer un peu en section et après on va faire de la solo. N'hésitez pas à vous abonner à ma chaîne YouTube, liker, partager, donnez de la force. Liker, partager, voilà. J'espère que vous allez bien, voilà. On est sur Fortnite. N'hésitez pas à vous abonner à ma chaîne YouTube, liker, partager tout. Et donnez de la force. Voilà, c'est moi disant de AA. Abonnez-vous. C'est l'eau, c'est bien. Voilà. Allô? Bonjour. En 4K. Había uno que estaba hablando, ¿no? Y hace, ¿qué? No sé, una canción estaba cantando la de Yo te quiero dar en 4K. Dice el, ¿qué? ¿Cómo, qué? Yo te quiero dar en 4K. ¿Dónde va? Gracias. Ea, ya me ha caído uno bien. Me está dando curas. Tengo relativo. Hola, voy a subir la tía. ¡Ay! Gracias, al final me matan. Bueno, esa. Pero sí que se me le da. Uy, está crack. Está muy crack. Está muy crack. Está muy crack. Está muy crack. Muy crack. Gracias, amigo. Curas. Santo de un día. Quiero curas. Vamos. Esto es una ardilla, la verdad. Estoy quieta y no me da ni una. A mí me gusta la fila, que se arregla. ¿Ya no hay cura? En este mapa no hay cura. A mí me gusta la fila, que se arregla. ¿Muerto? Estaba yo a poquito de vida y no me has dado. Madre mía, chacho. Bien. Yo te quiero dar. Hello, my friend. والله انا في ولا j'ai fait 7 kills. Hello, my friend. Te voy a matar. Wala j'ai fait 7 kills. Ah, que era el único que quedaba. A la que Paris. Wala je suis une blanche. En la mesa que era el Paris. Las friends. Voilà, il y a comme campé. C'est un kipi. Mais c'est pas des Français. Les Françaises. Oh, j'ai trop hâte d'aller faire les Françaises. Oh, je te jure. Oh, attends, je vais aller faire un petit peu les Françaises. Je vais aller un peu faire ça, les amis, et voilà. Faire les Françaises. Je te pousse. Allô? Moi, je vais faire les Françaises.
Allô, allô.
Ouais. Ça va? Ça va? Vas-y. Est-ce qu'on peut s'ajouter ou pas?
Tu veux qu'on se mette ensemble?
Vas-y, attends, je t'ajoute un... ajoute-moi un ami. Vas-y, si tu veux, on peut se mettre ensemble.
C'est quoi ton stylo?
C'est moi le style Bambi.
This year in Heat so far in NA around 145 points and the highest being 175 points. Yeah, that's like a pretty steep gap there. So we'll see where it ends up ending here for Heat number 1. But first, game number 4.
Je vois pas, t'es ouf.
Time is definitely winding down. I talked about that 97-point mark as it stands right now. Obviously, it's going to increase with the next 2 games, Monster. But what do you have to do here in the situation if you're on the line but outside of the bubble? Yeah, you know, at this point, it really just depends. If you don't have about 30 or 40 points, this late into the tournament cycle, you have to be as confident as possible and go for the win at all costs. So you need to become a high ground team right now, right at this very moment.
What you?
In the conversation, stay the course, try to make a couple end games, and your story is a little bit different, right? Everyone's journey is a little bit different depending on where they're at right now. That's why we love Fortnite, because anything can happen from the start of the day to the very end. Just like in last game, we saw 4 teams land here over at Frosted
On va faire les Françaises.
Moi aussi, je fais un skin Bambi.
One of them still being Hottie and Noise on the south side of the
Oh, c'est lequel le skin Bambi?
Celui qui tient l'arme.
Ah, c'est toi avec le fils d'Apou. C'est moi, celui qui a avec le fils d'Apou. C'est toi. C'est moi qui est devant toi. Vas-y, ajoute-moi, ajoute-moi. Oh.
Ok.
Just a little bit of a slower approach. There is a decent amount of loot in Sunken Shores. If you continue to go to the south, there's even more loot there, and then on the west and eastern edges as well. But you could already see a 4th team making their way over towards Sunken Shores, so you got to imagine that split drop is already being contested. So the longer teams stay in the actual POI versus getting scraps elsewhere, I feel like the harder their game is going to be overall. But just like the duck game at Heatwave Harbor, there's a little bit of a mini game. You go ahead and fix the pump, and you go underneath the tower, you do that one as well, and then you kind of see in the middle there is a fountain. You can actually make a wish with 200 gold. It gives you like a random set of loot, but the loot it gives you is pretty good.
Right, it'll be a huge upgrade for the most part here, especially in the early game, but look at this, you still have so much kind of danger lurking in the city. You have to be very much careful here. This might work out to be an ambush play though. Oh no, Pluto knows exactly where they're at. I thought for a second there he was walking into a trap.
Vas-y, ajoute-moi s'il te plaît. Ajoute-moi mon pseudo de Fortnite, c'est Lisandre de AA. Regarde, je l'écris.
3 teams now, as Carlito says, hey, you guys aren't going to fight without us. It's exactly what you're talking about. If you're at a certain point threshold at this stage in the tournament, Only thing that can really bring you back is just maybe top 2s, top 3s with a certain number of elimination because there's only 2 games left, or simply put that victory royale.
Oh, mais pas la
Spot
peine,
that
mais
is
pas la peine.
contested. We saw a 4th team already make their way over, and look at the minimap again. A 5th team is now on their way over. Where was my invitation?
Yeah, we're gonna rename this drop to the Chalk Shores. This place is chalk all the way through and through.
Non, attends.
More teams showing up, more problems for everyone here. For Sleep Seed, Donatello, they're on the opposite side over at the Calamari Canyon. You have a few teams in the vicinity as well. It's HQ. It's obviously Void XO there in the distance. But Donnie and Sleep Seed have a lot on the line, right? They're one of the few that are actually in the conversation right now for being one of the consistent teams to push through.
And this is how they're picking up that first one. Probably caught Fly out of position. Good beam on him. Get him to get a little overzealous and use the shockwave to close the gap.
Attends, Steph, dans le
Defense
groupe.
also changing up their
Son,
drop spot here. With only 2
il
games left, I can't blame anybody.
Yannick,
for trying to
rejoins.
figure out a way to get inside of that consistency or win a game. It even includes changing the drop. Jax does go down.
Allons, ça.
Luke, Sparky, it looks like they're the ones who are able to get the eliminations. Possibly one more on the Shore's teammate, Kyle. So you see they basically have control over Sinister Strip as of now.
Sinister Strip now in full control here. Just got to wrap this little bit of action up here. Ooh, big shot from down low. Hold up. You're starting to count them off. The Shore's got a completely different story he's trying to write here. Meanwhile, new team lurking up. It's Okus, it's Zonda. Eyes on him right now. Can Okus do it here and now?
And this could be the golden opportunity, especially with Webster and Encrypted already qualifying. They were kind of splitting that split drop on the outside. Now they get a full loadout, max loot, and a chance to really play this game on out. But Okus, even though they did an immense amount of damage, he takes a haymaker of a shot himself, slowing down the roll they were just on, forcing Zonda right now to try to go ahead and build them some extra space, a little bit of a cushion. Even see Sparky and Luke backing out, went back to the menu machine. I think everybody overcommitted in the situation. They thought that wasn't too risky until it was.
You know what it is too? They get that damage, but that monster's return shot probably makes them net negative if you think about it. So we'll see if this ends up being a risk that wasn't worth taking here.
Attends, il y a une chose, je vais t'inviter.
Meanwhile, Muzz and Rise roll up pretty quickly here. Doxy, Ruins, sensing.
Finish me then.
Out for a bit of a low position. Muzz gets the better of Doxy.
Second.
Exchange here.
Hey.
Ruin has to be careful here. They're poking a bear.
Did you almost watch out? You
coincidentally put themselves right in the middle of 2 teams that can try to spray them out, and that's exactly what's going down. But Rise steps one too many foot forward. Hadi's going to go ahead and land a good shot. That was the 3rd team there, taking the attention away from Doxy, and it looks like everybody here now has a moment to attempt to disengage. How much of that risk you're going to take, that's a whole nother question, because as of now, Monster, as long as they're above that damage threshold, they're not in too bad of a situation.
This is not too bad at all. Look at this though. Map knowledge to play here, but ooh, caught on the other side for Rise. Trying to see what the tension starting to build here.
Wow, chill.
Ruins, Doxy still doing a good job here putting up defense on the other
Ouais,
side.
attends.
Of course, happening just outside the shorts.
Vas-y, viens dans la map.
Pluto there just haven't caught.
Vas-y, viens, Evan, je t'attends dans la map, c'est bon?
Muzz and Rise earned so many points. I mean, they're
Oh, quitte le groupe de la map.
done for the evening, but this is all just extra practice. A little cherry on top.
De la map.
I was about to say, if he hits a max
Les
pump
abonnez-vous.
that window,
Les amis,
like,
abonnez-vous à ma
just
chaîne
let
YouTube,
Muzz
likez,
qualify.
partagez,
He
donnez
wouldn't
de la
have to
force.
win. He could just go directly to
Et
finals, thinking in and
donnez de la
outside of the
force,
box.
likez, partagez, abonnez-vous.
Jax on the